Welcome to Catacris Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.catacris.com. My name is Jason J. Rock Houston, and this is Catacris Magazine. Our special guest is Alexx Michael, the bass player and founding member, songwriter for the band Shameless. How are you doing today, Alexx?
Oh, it's all good. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, like I said, you're kind of the brains, and I've actually been following you since you launched this band all the way back in 1998. And I know one thing we have in common is you're a huge Kiss fan yourself. But I want to talk about your music, Alexx. I mean, like I said, you're the main songwriter, and I've been following you all the way back since you put out your first Shameless album, which I think was Backstreet Action, came out in 1999, and you've now released your 10th album. I mean, you've been non-stop.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like sometimes we have like a little long breaks because there's just so much other stuff going on.
Of course, yeah. But I mean,
always like
you never stopped.
Keep it busy.
Yeah.
And so because it's fun doing it. That's like the main thing, especially in today's market where there's not really money anymore to be made unless you're like in Kiss or bands like that, but like you just do it because you want to do it.
And you've got a bit of a Kiss connection more than just being a fan, because you've had some of the Kiss guys like Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer play on some of your albums, and oftentimes when you got any kind of a Kiss connection, as you know, Alexx, I mean the Kiss fans are pretty diehard. Have you kind of noticed that, like a lot of the people showing up to your shows or buying your records are Kiss fans?
Yeah, a part of them, because it's like, with like the Kiss fans, like there's also a lot of them that are like
into 80s.
They pretty much
glam rock.
Just focus on Kiss and then whatever Ace.
Yeah.
And Vinny do. I mean, like now on the other hand, like Vinny doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Besides canceling shows.
Very sad, yeah. And the other thing with Vinny that kind of I feel like he's ripping off the fans in a way. Not only does he cancel shows, but I mean, he's got these two albums came out like over 20 years ago, and because it's got his autograph, he's selling them through his website, selling them for $150. Like, come on.
Yeah, but that's how he's always been.
Yeah,
I mean, like, already Kiss had the problems with him.
Yeah.
And then I was on a Kiss convention in Europe in '96 where he screwed people over, and he stole the promoter's credit card and faked his name, and just like so much crap like that.
Yeah.
And it's insane that like his behavior never changed. Like he's still the same creep that he was like 30 years ago. I mean, just talk to anyone that ever worked with him.
It's funny you say that, because I know you went on that tour with him, and that's what you're talking about. But I mean, the guy then went away. I mean, he came out with like an EP around that time. That's why he was back on tour, and fans thought he was coming back, and then he just kind of disappears for 20 years, and it looks like maybe he's going to have a comeback. I mean, he's had plenty of chances. That's a very sad thing, and he never seems to learn his lesson. But I want to talk about Shameless today because. You got a great new album. I mean, the debut the single and the videos for the song "Live Your Dream." Talk about the vocalist behind that, because she's a great vocalist. I've never heard of her before, but I mean, she just fit the song, and it's really a rockin' tune.
She's incredible. She's actually the singer of my wife's band, Blue Ruin.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I met her, because I was on tour with Sherry Curry in New Zealand and Australia.
Yeah.
And my wife's band was the opening band, and that's how we met.
Oh, wow.
And at that point, they still had a different singer, and and the thing didn't really work out like how Anna, my wife, wanted it to be, and then like the guitar player, she became the singer.
Oh, wow.
And she's pretty much like one of the most incredible talents I ever found anywhere. I mean, I was so shocked because when I met them, she was just a rhythm guitar player, and I don't even think she was doing backing vocals or anything.
Wow. That's what I thought when I heard the new Shameless single. I thought, wow, I've never heard this singer before. She really rocks it, you know. What a find! What a great discovery. So, gotta say, Alexx Michael, thanks for giving her you know, a little space on your new album.
Oh, well, yeah, like we actually just like before I called you, we mixed another song for the next record that we're gonna put out in like I think like February.
Oh wow, okay, already, see?
Yeah, because like that one will be more like a fun record. Because like I always wanted to do a cover record.
Oh wow.
But then when I wrote down a list of songs to record, then I was also like, Jesus, like I have all, you know, I came up with a bunch of like new songs.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Within a few days, and I was like, okay, now I want to have those tracks on the record, and then, and then the thing to work with Charlotte was just like so natural, you know, because it's like it's a lot of fun, you know, to work with her, like, you know, writing stuff and you know.
Of course. Yeah,
and it makes a lot of sense, and plus, you know, we always had like different singers in Shameless, you know, like on the first record we still had Eddie Robinson, the guy that used to be in Alley Cat Scratch.
Okay. And I know you've worked a lot with Stevie and Steve, Summers.
Yeah, Stevie and Steve, but we also had Sherry Curry on one record, and then like you know, John Corabi was on one record, Phil Lewis did a few songs, and then of course also Frankie Muriel, the singer from King of the Hill.
And didn't you have Janie Lane on one of your albums, like doing background vocals or something? I remember.
Yeah, he did that on two of the records. Like he did a couple of songs on Queen for a Day, and
that's
then
it.
Again on Famous for Madness, he did also a few songs.
And then on one of the albums, you had a Gene Simmons tune. It wasn't a Kiss tune, but like an unreleased song that he had never released. Talk a little bit about that and how you got a hold of it.
Well, it was pretty much Stevie at some point, like he tried to work with Gene.
Okay.
You know, after Tough release, I think it was after Tough released the first record. And that's how that song
came about.
And then it was actually, there's a funny story, because I didn't even think about that song, because like Stevie mentioned it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then when we did the Queen for a Day record,
that's it, Queen for a Day.
It was like we were like in Gilby's studio, and then like we got the call from Gene about that song, and I didn't know the song before.
Well, yeah, so, never been released.
And then I was like, because, you know, like some of the Gene songs, like especially stuff from the 80s, is not like what I'm into.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then like the first thing I said, like, well, I have to hear the song first.
Yeah.
And Gilby Clark was like, he just looked at me and was like, you know, Gene is offering you a song. I said, like, yeah, but if it's a song like Burn Bitch Burn.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like, I don't want that on the record, because, like, I don't see anything besides his name on it. But like, to be honest, if you buy a record, the last thing you do is like going through the credits while you're driving in your car. Oh, Gene wrote that.
Yeah.
So for me, the number one thing was like, if the song is actually good, and I mean, it's a damn good song.
Yeah. That's
like, you know, if you know that Gene Simmons that box set that he released like a few years ago, you know, like that vault that has like 100 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, you will like this. Talking about this, if you know the Kiss stuff, like, have you ever heard a song called "Love Is Blind"?
Oh yeah, that was recorded like for his '78 solo album. It's one of the best unreleased Kiss things I've ever heard. I don't know why they didn't put it on the album, but I guess because a lot of his stuff sounded like that.
Well, because I think, you know, I'm always laughing because I said, like, because we just recorded that song. That will be one of the covers we do.
Oh, wow. How cool is that? Now, I know that the new single and that you guys recorded two new songs, and this is part of like a picture disc, and it's being released on vinyl and cassette. Is there going to be a CD of this, or is this, because I understand it's being also sold with a book about the DeLorean?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
What the picture disc will not be available in digital form simply because, like, the Live Your Dream song is already out on Spotify and, and all the platforms.
Yeah.
And the old songs, they're out on the old records. So like, I felt like it's a rip-off to, put out another CD where you have like 8 songs again that you already have on CD.
Yeah, the cool thing I think about a collection like this is it's twofold. People like myself that have been following you since the very first Shameless album, they're gonna love to have a collection like that. To say, these are some of my favorite songs by Shameless, and very much in a Kiss way. Like I dig the fact that it's not just a complete greatest hits. You guys threw on like 2 new tunes, and that's a cool thing to do. To market your album, people will check it out just because it has the 2 new songs.
Exactly, and those 2 songs were like so much fun because. We also did a cover of one of my all-time favorite movies, the Smokey and the Bandit movie.
Oh, yeah.
We did a cover of the title track, Eastbound and Down. And it was just funny because, like sometimes people are like, they always expect like a certain sound and everything and this and that. And I was like, Jared, the singer from Bowling for Soup, I mean, like, he is from Texas, and he's actually like a closet hard rocker. I mean, a couple of months ago, he released a cover version of Youth Gone Wild.
Oh,
and
wow.
He pretty much, he sang it as great as Sebastian did.
Well, yeah, that's one thing I always love about you and your band Shameless is, like you say, when you guys pick a cover, you don't necessarily go with the obvious thing. Like when this is a track I really haven't heard. I mean, of course, I've seen Smokey and the Bandit the movie, but when I hear, that you guys cover a song from that's not the most obvious choice, and it's kind of cool because for a lot of people, not only do they not expect you to cover a song like that, but it's cool for that reason. Like this is not like Rock and Roll All Night recorded for the 1,000th time by another band, and that's what makes it cool because a lot of people are going to be just hearing this song for the first time, maybe never even heard the original version in the movie.
That's so funny, but like, you're right about that, because, like, to be honest, I remember, like, those discussions or, like, those questions from pretty much the first record. I mean, like, okay, on the first record we did Flaming Youth, and we didn't really change that, but then on during the Queen for a Day sessions, we also did a cover of the Kiss song Tomorrow, but we changed it into an acoustic band. Yeah,
very cool. In fact, you guys did a whole EP of that. Like, there were 3 Kiss tunes off of Unmasked, and you called it Undressed. And that was especially, Talk to Me is kind of true to the original form, but I think you guys really rocked it up and made it your own. And in fact, I don't think there's an official video for that, but when I was going online the other night, looking up some of your tunes, came up with this Talk to Me video, and really cool shots of you and the band.
Yeah, and with that song, it was actually funny, because when we did that cover, and then we pretty much, like, during the recordings, Carrie was like, I need to listen to the original one to figure out what Ace was playing.
Yeah.
And, in his guitar solo, it's like, no, I will not let you hear it. You just play what you feel is right for it.
Yeah.
I always hate that, and I think it's pointless when you do a cover and it's an exact copy.
I agree, yeah.
You can never recreate that original vibe of it. I mean, like, for me, like, the worst example when it comes to stuff like that is, like, every cover of My Sharona.
Oh, yeah, come on, yeah.
It's like, you cannot copy that, and then, like, you hear, like, some of the heavy metal bands, and then they just, like, play everything much heavier, but, like, the feel of the song is just gone. Because there's just, like, certain songs you shouldn't even try to mess with, because it's like, that's always one rule that I have, is, like, as much as I love the Neck, I will never do a cover of theirs, because, like, their stuff is so perfect, and it's like, you cannot improve that in any way or form.
Yeah,
there's just like something magic about that band and how they did all their records that it's like, okay, no, don't mess with that.
And that's why, Bruce Kulick, when he released his last album, BK3, he did a song with Doug Fager on there. It was an original tune they wrote together. It was not a...
Dirty Girl.
Yeah, Dirty Girl. That was like my favorite tune on that album. I mean, there's lots of them, but...
I know.
But, I mean, he's such a great talent, Doug was, in his own right, that, that's the last thing maybe that he did before he passed away. And what a great tune. What a great way to highlight.
I know.
That.
It's like, I always tell Bruce, like, that song, is just like, it's such a mind-blowing, great song. And, like, everything about that song is just, like, perfect. And,
yeah, like to me, they released the song he released as a single is the one he did with Nick Simmons, and that's a great kind of rock and metal tune. But I think it would have been better to release Dirty Girl. I mean, that was just such a great tune to me.
Oh yeah, because that was something that you would expect to hear on the radio.
Yeah. And talking about the new single you have out, "Live Your Dream," Bruce plays on that as well. So I know you've been a friend of his for a while, you and him, But how did you get him to play on this? And were you guys in the same studio because of COVID and all that? Were you in separate studios?
No, Bruce pretty much, like, he has his own studio now in his new place in Vegas. Because he plays, let me see. Oh, he actually, on the new record, the one that's coming out, like, in February.
Yeah.
Or maybe March, like somewhere February, March. He did 4 guitar solos for that record.
Oh, wow.
Because he was my obvious choice also for the Gene Simmons track for The Love Is Blind.
Oh, wow.
Because I knew, like if somebody gets that feeling, because, like, my point was, like, like the original demo is pretty much just like him with an acoustic bass, and strumming along. And I was like, okay, how would it sound if they recorded that
with you
in, like...
Yeah.
Like in 79.
Yeah.
So we did put some piano on it, and pretty much like the riff, we changed it into something like that Ace would have played on Dynasty or on Masked.
Yeah, see, and what I dig again, Alex, about that is, like, if you're diehard Kiss fans like you and me, a lot of people have already heard the tune, like, in bootleg form or whatever, or even on the Gene box set, but it's not an obvious choice. And then there's another certain percentage of the Kiss fans that have never heard it, so it's like hearing a new Kiss tune, even though it's one of these tunes that he wrote, all the way back in the 70s.
Yeah, the song is just incredible. Like, it's a shame that song was never on a Kiss record.
Yeah, and so what I dig about what the current release again is it's kind of like you said, it's kind of the greatest hits collection. You got 2 new tunes. And I understand it's being sold with this book about that. Now, I've seen some videos you had about the DeLorean, Ace Frehley's DeLorean, up on your YouTube page. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because, I mean, a lot of Kiss fans like myself thought, well, when Ace got in that wreck, the guitar, the car had to have been totaled or whatever. It's amazing it's even still around.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the book pretty much came about because in the, in the States, between, like, 82 and 84, you had all those, like, wrong information about, like, all the DeLorean, like, he used the company, to sell drugs and whatever.
Wow.
And the truth is, he never did any of it. Like, the whole thing was a crime created by the government.
Wow.
It's as insane as it sounds.
Yeah.
And through a couple of people and, I have all the documents from the company.
Wow, how cool is that?
And I was like, normally when you buy a book, it's always like somebody's writing about something, and most of the time those people weren't even there, or they were on heroin, and it's hard to believe that they actually remember anything about the period.
Yeah.
And I thought, if you put out a book and you just show those original documents, then people really can see, wow, this is really what happened.
Yeah. And so, what was the hardest thing about putting the book together, or, getting it out there?
Actually, I mean, like, doing the research and everything, like, last February, we went to the UK to the National Archive to go through the documents. And the crazy part is, like that some of the documents are still under lock until the year 2077.
Yeah, that right there tells you, what are they hiding, you know?
Yeah, because the British government wants to make sure that nobody ever finds out how they fucked up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because think about it, like if DeLorean was the bad guy, the government would have released those documents the next day.
Yeah, yeah.
But like if you have to hide the documents for almost 100 years, then it just tells you, okay. And it's such a insane, crazy story. I mean, like so much of the stuff, and when I was doing interviews with John's old secretary and stuff, like, you know, how the FBI threatened her and stuff like that.
Wow.
It's just like, it's incredible, you know, like how far they went out of their way to create, to destroy a guy and his name and his company. Just because they saw it like, oh, if he succeeds with his ideas, then, like, we lose all the jobs in Detroit, and, like, what that means, we'll lose a lot of taxes. So, like, we have to get that guy out of the way. Yeah,
it's amazing. And, you know, besides Ace Frehley DeLorean, probably the most famous one would be in the movie Back to the Future, you know, that trilogy. And then after that movie, kind of, you never heard about the DeLorean anymore.
Yeah, it's like, but then on the other hand, I mean, like, it's still like the most talked about car. Like, if you put it on Google or whatever, or like, I mean, I see it all the time, because, like, I've always been into, like, you know, like, muscle cars and whatever. And there's no car on the planet where you get this kind of reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, when I get into a gas station, a lot of times it takes you about like 30 minutes to even get out of the gas station, because people see you while they're driving by that gas station, and they just drive into the station. Oh my God, it's a DeLorean, it's the blah, blah, you know, and they just go crazy about it.
Oh yeah, And so as far as the book goes, Alex, if people want to get their hands on it, what's the best way to do that? Where can they go?
Well, if you live in the States, I mean, like, let's put it that way. The easiest way is just to go on DeLoreanbook.org.
Okay.
And it has the list of the dealerships and stuff where you can get the book. Because, like, if you live in the States, it's real easy because you just go on DeLorean.com.
Okay.
They sell it right away. And then we have pretty much, like, the book available to all the DeLorean vendors in the world. Like, we have, like, all the outlets in the States, and then we have one in Holland, one in Germany, and one in the UK.
And what's the hardest thing for you about getting, you know, not only putting the book together, but getting it out there to you know, these different because I tell you, when I was reading about the book and the fact that it comes with your picture disc and it's available on as a picture disc, vinyl, even cassette, and to sell the book along with this stuff, how cool of a way to market your music.
Yeah, because the cassette thing for me, I mean, I'm a huge cassette fan.
Wow.
I always loved them, you know, and then at some point when I discovered, you know, with the Kiss tapes that, like, oh, they look different in the States than they do in Japan or, you know, whatever places. And then I started to collect them, and then there's even a Kiss cassette collector group on Facebook.
Oh, wow. But you know, now to have your own Shameless cassette and vinyl, how cool is that?
Well, the cassette was pretty much, the idea was, because, like, since it's, you know, when I released the DeLorean book, and almost like every DeLorean owner still has the original stereo in the car, which has a tape deck.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, you know, like all those, like, car collectors, fans, whatever, they have a tape deck, and they haven't been able to buy a new cassette in the last, like, 25 years or so.
You know, that's true. I mean, vinyls in the last several years have been making quite a comeback. And I hear people telling me all the time that, like, they don't even have a turntable, but they're buying everything on vinyl because it's becoming more and more of a collector thing. And I think the same thing might be true with the cassette. Not quite yet at the level of vinyl, but I think it's interesting, even the Rat Pack Records here in the U.S., that George Lynch is signed to, all their new releases are releasing on cassette, so I'm seeing that more and more.
Yeah, Michael Sweet also did a cassette release. I think it was like last year.
Yeah, same label. Yeah.
And Yeah, and to be honest, like the responses, to both items. I mean, like the cassette.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, like who runs the DeLorean company in Holland, he was at a car show last week. I know it was already like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he brought a box of them. And he wrote me after and said like all those tapes were gone within like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because people were just like, what, a cassette? Oh, that's so cool. Like, yeah, I have to get one.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the response is great. And plus it's fun, to do something like that. Because it's like, I always say, like, if people tell me, oh, you shouldn't do that, then I know I have to do it.
Yeah, I'm totally an old school guy, Alex. I mean, I still, I get most of my music these days, if not through the bands I listen to, like, through Amazon, because that's one place you can pretty much get everything. I love to still hold a CD in my hand and look at who wrote the songs and who's playing on the album. That's one of the things I've always enjoyed about the music and the CDs you put out, is because you got all these great special guests, as you're saying. And before I let you go, I just got to say, like you said, you over the years you picked some great songs to cover, and I know it was on one of the previous records, but one song I just recently discovered, and you got a great video for it, is it's an old Billy Ocean tune. It's called "Get Out of My Dreams," or "Get Out of My Dreams and Get Into My Car." Again, you would not expect a guy like you to kind of cover a Billy Ocean tune, but you really rocked it up. You owned the tune, like you said, and it I think I dare say it. I like it even better than the original. But that's the talent that you and your band have.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was also to do that song. It was "Don't Laugh," but like I was not a fan of the original song.
Yeah, I believe that. But you, like I said, you really made it your own.
Because I was like, and then at some point I was like listening to it, because like I talked with a friend about the thing, like songs that we just can't stand.
Yeah.
And I said that song, and then I was listening to it. I was like, and for the first time in like 20 years or something, I was actually listening to the song, and I was like, okay, those lyrics, they're like absolutely like, shameless.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, how could you change that song to make it cool? And then, I tried a couple of things, and then at one point I was like, okay, no, that's it. And then I told Frankie about it, because like he's like the perfect choice for that, because if you are familiar with like the King of the Hill stuff also,
yeah.
Frankie is pretty much like, he's a mix of James Brown and David Lee Roth.
Oh, cool, yeah.
But like vintage David Lee Roth, not David Lee Roth like now.
Yeah, and in fact, have you seen the current little feud between him and Gene going online?
Oh yeah.
Crazy, but only those two guys could get into something like that. But again, I got to say too, the video you guys did for that song, great video. Now, it's mostly just these hot looking girls, but like, how was that? How was the video shot? Did you just get these girls to go in different locations and shoot them, or?
Yeah, pretty much. We had a guy that did the video for us, so it was like, I just told him what we need, and then he came up with that footage, and I was like, okay, this is perfect.
I hope you guys be doing more videos for more of your songs, because I tell you, that video really, I mean, I know it's a couple years old as far as the Shameless version, but the video's not that old, and I've been seeing it almost every day online. People are constantly checking it out, and so I think you guys are onto something. Now, you said the next record's coming out February, March. Is it it's an all covers album, or do you got like some originals on there as well?
We have oh god, now let me think. I think we have 5 original songs on.
Uh-huh.
And then I think like 7 or 8, or is it actually 9 covers? Because to be honest, like we just had like this crazy idea last weekend, and I'm still waiting to hear back from Charlotte. If we are able to record that song, because that will be also something that nobody would ever expect from us doing.
Yeah.
Like one of the songs we did already record for that record is "Pretty in Pink."
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, because it's like for me, like I said before, it's like it doesn't make sense for me to cover a Motley Crue song, because it's like, how do you want to top anything that was released on Shout at the Devil. It doesn't make sense, you know. Cause like,
now, would you ever consider doing like maybe something on a later Crew album, like Saints of Los Angeles, or again, do you kind of think there's not much reason to do that?
Exactly, because it's like that was just like a recent record with like for like a $500,000 budget to record the whole thing.
Yeah.
And no, like some of the songs we did is we did a cover of "I Think You're Alone."
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I could see you guys doing that. That's cool.
And then we also do a cover of the ABBA track "Does Your Mother Know?"
Oh, see, and again, a cool thing about that is when everybody thinks of ABBA, they think of Dancing Queen. So again, that's one of those tunes that I'm sure you guys are really put the Shameless stamp all over, but yet not everybody's heard.
Yeah, and also it's like a song that totally fits into the with the other Shameless stuff, because like it wouldn't make sense for us to do like a Led Zeppelin song or anything. Cause like,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, there, no doubt.
There's like certain things that don't make sense. At least I think, and so we're just like, but like, and then what else did we do? Like, to be honest, like, we did a cover also of the Temptation song "Get Ready."
Oh, okay, wow, yeah, I could see you guys kind of glamming that up and putting your stamp on it. Wow, I mean that's really something to look forward to. I can't wait for it. Now. Since like the new songs aren't being released on CD, any chance that we'll get to hear will those be featured on the new album as well?
Yeah, I mean like obviously we did the Eastbound song, so that will be on the CD as well, So and
yeah, that's cool. See, and what makes it cool the way you're releasing it right now is it will become like a collector's item, very limited run or whatever, and that makes it kind of cool from a fan point of view.
Yeah, because I always think like it's you have to do something special with it, and then like I know like sometimes I might go a little bit overboard.
Yeah.
Also for the next record, like the one that we're working on at the moment, I discovered this guy and he's from Malaysia.
Oh wow! Yeah.
He's the most incredible like comic artist, and I saw some of his works, and I contacted him, and then like he did the first image, and it turned out so great.
Oh wow!
That I was like, if we put this out on vinyl, how about like if each song gets its own picture?
Oh, cool! Yeah. Again, that's kind of like Metallica when they released their last studio album. They had like the Dave album was released. They had recorded a video for every song. Every hour you got a new video or something like that. Again, just a different way to kind of market your music. And what I really love about Shameless is like when people think of Shameless, they think of you, Alex. They think of Steve Summers and Stevie Rochelle, because you guys are kind of a three mainstays. But I also dig the fact that we don't get we don't get the two Steves on every single track. Like you have these other guest singers come in as well. I mean, I know that when you guys do live shows, it's typically Steve and Stevie. In fact, you guys a number of years ago did a Metal Sludge kind of tour, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. And on that tour, we had both of the guys with us, which is like, a lot of times it's almost impossible because like Steve is always doing stuff, and then Stevie's always busy. Like that guy pretty much works like 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was amazing. I mean, for years, people had no idea that he was the guy behind Metal Sludge, and I've actually seen him talk in interviews. He's a very intelligent guy.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, and like and pretty much like the stuff that he says also makes sense. He's not like because like sometimes when you see interviews from people, I mean, and I don't want to mention names.
No, I got you. Yeah.
I was just talking about this. There's like a few artists where I think like somebody in their management should tell them, okay, we change your Facebook, Twitter passwords and you will not have access to it anymore. Because, like, some of them make themselves look like the biggest idiots possible. It's like every time you see something from them, it's like, oh my God, like, how is this possible? Like, does nobody tell him when to stop?
Yeah.
Because it's just like, people just laugh at those things.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know people like that, but you know, it's, in fact, I was going to ask you, I know you kind of got the nickname Alexx Skunk Michael because you got streaks, you know, in your hair and that, but did anybody in particular give that to you, start calling you Skunk, or was it yourself, something a bandmate or a fan started calling you?
It was Eric. It was actually Eric Singer.
Oh, wow.
Who gave me the name Skunk, you know, because, like, when I met him the first time, like, I already had the blonde and the black, and then like, he kept calling me Skunk, and he still...
And it's stuck, yeah. I tell you...
Every time I see him or whatever, he always just calls me Skunk.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping when, you know, Kiss wraps their tour up and everything, I would love for him to do, like, a solo, because I know a number of years ago I got this great CD that he put out called the Eric Singer Project. They did, like, great covers at Bruce and John on it, and I tell you, he's a great singer. I loved all the tunes that he sang on that, you know, like Teenage Nervous Breakdown. I mean, he's really a great singer as well as a drummer.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, you know, and he's just like a very, very talented person, you know, and it's just like in the last couple of years, you know, like, you know, with Kiss, obviously, you know, like, that's his main gig, so, like, it doesn't leave him.
Well, of course, it doesn't make sense when you make a ton of money doing that. You know, he doesn't really need to do. But now, before you guys did Shameless, were you involved with the project? I think it was Eric Singer project called Glam Nation.
No.
Oh, okay, that was a totally different thing. And the final thing I say is, you know, you make a lot of sense, like you're saying, when you guys pick covers, like if you're going to cover somebody's song, kind of make it your own. Because I remember talking to Tommy Skeel, the original lead guitar player from Tesla, and he was telling me how, he said they had like a much bigger hit with Signs, he says, than the original artist, but he says, you know, if you listen to the original version that the original artist, the Tesla version sounds nothing like that. And I think that's part of the reason they had such a big hit with that.
Yeah, because that's always like, I don't get the point of like just copying something. And it's like one of the other songs that we did a cover for the next record. Are you familiar with the movie Class of 1984?
No, I had to look that one up. I don't think I am, but okay.
Oh my God, that's so funny because like I was also talking with Jared about this, and he never saw the movie, and like here in Europe, that movie is like an absolute cult movie.
Yeah, well, it's like, oh, okay, that's amazing.
In that movie, there's a scene where like those guys hang out in a punk club. Oh. And there's this band on stage called Teenage Head.
Oh, wow.
And nobody knows that band, but like I always loved that song.
Well, you know, Alex, that's the very reason you need to do that song. I mean, especially for your fans here in the U.S. A lot of us, a good portion of us, have never even heard of a band, as you say. And when that Shameless version comes out, people are going to be thinking, oh, wow, this is a Shameless tune. This is an original tune, and maybe till they read the songwriting credit. But again, that's a cool thing about what you're saying, because a lot of people, you're not going with the obvious choice. You're like, this is stuff I grew up on, in Europe. A lot of these, U.S. people may not be aware, but I'm just so excited about this album you're working on. I mean, it's kind of like, Kiss meets a Phantom. I understand in Europe it went by the title of, Attack of the Phantoms. Here, of course, it was Kiss meets Yeah. So it just...
And with the different music on also, because the American version just had this, elevator music in it.
Yeah, and then...
I never understood it, but I guess it had to do something with the licensing.
Yeah, the territory where it was released, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, that's just so wrong, having this weird music in the movie instead of the Kiss music. And
then I understand in the European version they also added some music from the solo albums and that weren't in the original theatrical release. So it's just amazing. Yeah.
To me, the weirdest part about that movie is that the one version had a different ending than the other one.
Yeah. And then, I've heard Paul and Gene talk about that movie and how it was made. And you know, it's funny because as a kid, when you're watching that movie for the first time, you really don't pay attention to certain things. But now when I go back, I've heard him talk about it. Like, yeah, you can hear that's not Peter Criss's real voice. You know, somebody else is doing his lines, and then you can kind of notice, in some of the scenes, like under Ace's makeup, there's a black guy who's the stunt double, and it's like, yeah, how did we miss that the first time around?
Yeah, but I guess when you're like 10 or 12 years old,
you don't pay attention to stuff, yeah.
Exactly, you know, so like it's like you don't see those things. It's like pretty much with every kind of movie. Like when you get older and you watch it again, I mean, like the only movies that don't have that issue are like any Dracula movies that have Christopher Lee in them, because like those movies are still as impressive now as when I watched them the first time when I was like 10 years old.
Oh wow, yeah. So where are you originally from, Alex? And in Europe, are you German or are you from Sweden?
No, I'm from Germany.
Oh, okay, Germany. So when you were growing up, how big of an influence were the Scorpions on you?
Not at all.
Oh, amazing. See? Yeah.
It's like, I mean, my musical thing, and a lot of people always get shocked about this, because like, I discovered music like when I was like 4.
Oh wow!
It was Christmas, and my aunt, she gave my dad an Elvis Presley live record.
Okay.
And I was blown away by that. You know, I was like, what the hell is that? You know, and then so I got into Elvis, pretty much in kindergarten, while all the other kids were listening to kids' music. I was listening to Elvis. Yeah, I would
have had no idea, but you see, Elvis, I can kind of see, because Elvis is, you know, Kiss isn't that different from Elvis in the sense that, like Elvis, Kiss is a little bit of everything. You know, it's glam, it's rock, it's pop, it's metal.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely, and that's how I got into Kiss at some point, because like, when Elvis died, pretty much like a few months afterwards, like we watched TV, and my dad was switching the channels, and on German television they showed the Kiss Live in Japan show, like only like half an hour of it or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, because like all I knew before then was like Elvis, and I was reading Batman comics.
Oh wow! And you know, as a kid,
I was like,
when you see Kiss, you know,
it's like a mix of Batman and Elvis, but it's just like the music is so much louder than the Elvis stuff. So, and that totally hooked me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying is, you know, you see Kiss for the first time, especially as a kid, and you're like, what is this? Are these guys comic book heroes, or are they cartoon characters?
Exactly.
And then you find out, oh wait, they're a band. They make music. You can go and buy their albums too.
And then like the funny thing was, like after seeing the thing, the next day I went to my grandparents for the weekend.
Yeah.
And I told my grandfather, oh my God, I saw this band. I need their music. So we went to the store, and I was expecting, you know, and I asked the guy, like, do you have anything from Kiss? And he was like, oh yeah, here's the section. Because I expected them, you know, there's maybe only like one record out or something.
Yeah.
This was like right after the solo album, or this was right when the solo albums came out.
Oh, wow.
There was like this huge stack of different records. And then the first record I bought was Alive 2, simply because like I opened the gates and I was like, oh my God, that's exactly like in that TV thing. So I have to get that. And I was just like, so for me, it was also pretty much like, I started Kiss with a live record.
Oh wow, interesting. And now,
the studio record.
Yeah, we talked about, you know Bruce Kulick, of course, but did you ever get a chance to meet his brother Bob that played on Alive too?
Yeah, I met Bob a couple of times. Like the first time I met him was like in '88.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I had a summer job at a TV station here in Munich. There was like a local music station, and Meatloaf was there.
Oh wow!
And so, and then you know he invited us to the show, and I didn't even know Bob was in the band, but I knew about Bob, but like I had no idea he was still in Meatloaf's band. So I was like, oh my God, like you're Bruce Kulick's brother.
Yeah.
And then after the show, he invited us to the hotel, and we were hanging out until like I think like 5 in the morning or something. So like, And then I met him a couple of other times, and he was always like very, very talented guy.
Yeah, and I met him a few times, and more than that, I just always found him to be a super cool guy. You know, just down to earth and so friendly.
Yeah, and he was a very dedicated musician and stuff, and and he was always so proud of Bruce, like being in Kiss, you know.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Bob himself, he became known for doing those great tribute records, and you know that's what a lot of people remember him as.
Yeah, and he also did the Alley Cat scratch record.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that. I'll have to check that out. You know, and then before I let you go, just a few more things, Alex, because I know it's getting late where you are. But my question is, like, obviously you're a Kiss fan, Elvis fan. You mentioned, were you ever much of an Alice Cooper fan?
Alice Cooper, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of his 70s stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand the 80s stuff.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
But then, because it just, like, still to this day, like those records, you know, like he did in the 80s, they just sound wrong.
Yeah,
all those, like, Desmond Child and Kane Roberts songs.
Yeah.
To me, that's like, it's not Alice Cooper.
I think, Alice is best when he writes his own stuff, and I think his secret weapon is kind of Kiss-related, too. I think all his greatest stuff he's ever put out is produced by Bob Ezrin.
Except for one record, it's and that's to this day like one of my favorite Alice records, Dirty Diamond.
Oh yeah.
That record is so unbelievable, great. Like the songs and like also the sounds on that record, because it doesn't have those typical, we need heavy metal guitars or anything. You know, because that's what I couldn't stand about his 80s stuff, like the. I mean, because it's just like it sounds like, we have to sound 80s. Kind
of, not just Alice, but I think a lot of people make a mistake when try to be something you're not. Like Alice is best just being Alice. And I got to recommend, if you haven't heard his new album, Detroit Stories, he's got a lot of his classic band members on there. Great stuff.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love it. But
number one.
You know the cover that we did of Alice.
Are you there, Alex? Are you there, Alex? See if he calls back. I guess we lost him. Let's see if he calls. Hi, Alex. I don't know what happened. The phone disconnected, but you were talking about you did an Alice Cooper cover.
Yeah, on Beautiful Disaster, we did a cover of 18, but we did it more like in a, more like a Phantom of the Opera kind of style.
Oh, okay. That's cool. And I think we're going to wrap it up now because I know you're traveling. In fact, what are you doing? You still just kind of working on your new album, or because you said you were on the road?
Yeah, I'm waiting for my guy. His name is Dave, who will mix the record, because we just started mixing some of the songs that are already done, and he's in New Zealand, so we have a time difference of 10 hours. He's 19 hours ahead of you at the moment.
Yeah. So what time is it where you are now?
Hold on, let me check.
I'm just kidding.
I don't even.
That's all right. I'm just curious. Yeah, don't worry about it. But
it's 4 in the morning.
Oh wow. I'm sorry for keeping you, but I just enjoy talking to you so much.
No, don't worry, because like I said, Dave, our guy, he just sent me a message and said I have the next song in 30 minutes, so I have to stay up anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just gonna say, Alex, I'll end on this. As you can tell, I'm a fan. Like I said, I've been following you from the very beginning of Shameless, and I got to really compliment, because I think one thing I really say about you and your songs you write, you got a really unique problem in that. Some bands that were doing what you're doing might just go do a whole cover record. You got the unique problem of what are you going to cover, and then which of our original tunes are we going to put on the record, which I think it's kind of a nice problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. That's we could pretty much do a double record, and we already have a hard time of now we also have to put that on, because when we did some of the bass tracks, because that's stuff that I always record in Munich. There's a studio here called Sky Studio, and I know the guy for ages, and that's why I always love to record my bass there. and he said, like, aren't you recording, like, too many songs? You know, because, like, people only, whatever, pay, whatever. I was like, I don't care. Like, I want to put it out the way I have it in my head.
Yeah.
If it has 15 songs on it, and, like, the people that are into our music, they will love it. And if somebody says, like, oh, my God, that's too many songs, they're like, I don't care. You know? It's just, like...
I'm with you, Alex. You know, my problem is I'm kind of an old school guy like you. I miss those days. I mean, that's why I used to love all the Kiss albums. You get more than just 6 or 7 tunes, you know. And and sometimes when people do stuff the modern way, I have a problem. Like, okay, we're going to release a 4-song EP. Okay, these 4 songs are great, but it kind of leaves me, you know, wishing I had a full-length album in my hand.
That's what I always hate, to be honest, because it's like, especially on CDs, like, if you have 4 songs on it, it's like, it's a waste in your, you know, back in the days when people had CD changers in their cars, it was always a waste of space to put, like, an EP in there.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you a funny story. In prepping for today, like, for an interview we're doing now, I do still have a CD player in my car, and I was listening to your debut album, Backstreet Action, just kind of prep for this tonight. And again, this is an album that I think has aged nicely. This came out in 1999, and I think it's a fair representation of what Shameless is today. That like, if you like the stuff that's on this debut album, I think people are going to love any of your 10 albums you got out.
Yeah. It's crazy, actually.
And see, I think when people tell you stuff they don't understand, maybe, well, first of all, they obviously don't follow you, because if they did, they would know that you've got quite an internet presence. You got quite a nice little fan base that follows you. You know, not just all over internet, but it's really worldwide, because, like you said, you live most of your life in Germany, but you've come over to Los Angeles. You're all over the place, and people from around the globe they're buying your records. So that tells you right there.
And the amazing thing is also, like, that we're, like, in the lucky situation, you know, like, if you have, like, somebody new on board, like Charlotte, that it's not like, oh my God, I can't believe you have a girl singing there. It's like pretty much people. I mean, and then, like, also, I mean, like, with Charlotte, it's also a different beast anyway, because like, everybody is so freaking out about her. Like, I was just talking to Eric Singer yesterday, and he was also like, that girl is so unreal. And Eric is somebody that is hard to please. Because, like, Eric has, like, I mean, like, he's into Queen and all those, like, super mega bands. And, like, for him to say, like, oh my God, like, she's so over the top incredible, you know, that means something. And I also, like, you know, like, because we did 4 songs with her, and the incredible thing is, like, she sounds different on each and every one of them.
Yeah, I mean,
like, a lot of times, you know, when you have singers, like, and they sound the same on every song. Yeah.
I mean, certain singers. I mean, then you got guys like Paul Stanley, Freddie Mercury. You know, even Gene Simmons. I mean, everything from God of Thunder to, like, the track you were talking about, Love Is Blind. They sound like 2 completely different tunes. Same singer. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you is, how were you when you first started playing the bass, and what was it? Was it because of, you know, your fascination with Gene Simmons and Kiss, or did you have another bass hero first?
Well, I mean, to be honest, like, I started playing guitar.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to this club in Munich, and this guy came up to me and was like, fuck, you should be in my band. Like, you know, like, you look exactly what we're looking for. And he was like, do you play bass? And I was like, no, I play guitar. And I was like, well, if I give you a bass, can you try to play that? And I was like, well, sure.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up playing bass. And but for me, the Shameless thing was something like that idea, like even the band name.
Yeah.
I came up with that idea like long before I had a band. I was like 15.
Wow.
And I think it was like a Penthouse, whatever magazine, and there was this girl.
Yeah.
And on top it said, like, it's time to get shameless.
Oh, cool.
Like, oh my God, what? That would be like the perfect band name, Shameless.
Yeah, and you know, Alex, when people think of Shameless, they think of you. You're kind of like you know how Angus Young has become kind of the AC/DC mascot. I mean, you're kind of a mascot of your own band, and it's amazing. You're the one mainstay in the band, and you know you really do look like a rock star. And you could have probably put yourself, you know, on every single album cover. But I gotta say, like, you've always had kind of a sexy-looking girl on the cover, and I don't know how you find these girls, but man, the ones that have graced your album covers have been, you know, something special, I think.
Yeah, because I always thought, like, you know, especially since we have more people involved in Shameless, I thought, like, you know, like to put the guys on the cover.
Yeah.
Is like, where do you start, where do you end? So I was like, you know, Iron Maiden has the Eddie, and I was like, well, instead of Eddie, we'd rather have some great-looking girls on it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because, you know, I remember as a kid, like when they used to have record stores here in the United States, not knowing anything about Iron Maiden, just going through the records that were in the store, came across the Iron Maiden section, picked up a copy of Number of the Beast, and like you said, the band's nowhere to be found on the front cover of the album. I seen that massive picture of Eddie. I'm like, very much like discovering Kiss. Like, what the hell is this? I don't even know what this sounds like, but I have to get this.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And then, like, some of our record covers, they came together in such a funny way. Like when we did the Dial S for Sex record, I just posted, and this is like, you know, old school. This was still on MySpace.
Yeah.
And I just made a post about, like, yeah, we need, like, a girl for photo shoot, blah, blah, you know, or if they have, or, you know, whatever. And then this girl sends me this message, and she was like, well, I'm a model, and, like, I'm at a shoot right now. What do you, what do you want? And I was like, well, just try something, whatever, you know, do something with a white background. That's all I said.
Yeah.
You know? And then, like 3 hours later, she said, like, oh, okay, yeah, the photographer will send you the pictures.
Oh,
so
wow.
you can choose. And then I saw that photo, I was like, oh, God, this is perfect. And this brings me back to what I said before. Every time somebody says, oh, you shouldn't do that, then, like, then I know it's the right thing to do.
You should...
The picture.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
At that point, like, and it's still to this day, when you look into some of those catalogs or like websites, and they have the new album releases, every record is black. Everything is dark.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? If we put a girl on it and the full thing is white, it will stand out.
Yeah.
Like, no matter if you have like 200 records there, but like that's the one that people will see the first.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's kind of what you guys have become known for. I mean, I remember picking up ordering the Backstreet Action. I seen it in an ad originally, Metal Edge magazine. I got it through Paris Records, if you can remember. Back then, and again, you look at the album cover, and what is this? This looked like a great '80s rock thing, and there's not even like a band on the cover. I got it, and just because I seen it in Metal Edge magazine, I ordered it, and I thought when I got it, wow, this is great stuff. And then I continue to support the band and check out every new release, and then I thought, wow, great looking album covers. That's something Shameless has become familiar with, and people look at the logo. The logo means something, just like the Kiss logo to people. They're like, wow, yeah, I remember Shameless, yeah, and that's why you just have a great little fan base that follows you all over internet. Every time you put something new out, like you're saying, Alex, the new singer Charlotte. I mean, I tell you, I've never heard her anywhere before, like you said, and I got to tell you, as great as the band is and everything on that track, her voice really stands out. And I was like, wow, I got to find out about who this is and go check out what she's done before.
Yeah, I can send you a link to her other band.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Because they did a couple of like killer videos, and like now, I mean, like obviously with the stupid COVID situation, everything is delayed. But like, they will go on tour with LA Guns next. I think we're still waiting for the date because like everything is still like a little bit shaky. But like it seems that the tour will be in May for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh wow! And now, right now, is it the tour is it's going to be in Europe, or is it going to be anywhere in the United States, or you don't know at this point?
Well, we are not not 100% sure at that point. We still have to wait, like, you know, like how everything turns out, and also with the travel restrictions and everything. Because, like, I was supposed to go, in regards to the book, to a DeLorean weekend in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Because they invited me as a guest speaker there. And, like, I still don't know if I'm actually able to go there.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And that's, like, at the moment, it's a pretty crazy situation. I mean, like, just look at all those people that bought tickets for that KISS cruise and are from overseas, and they still don't know if they will be allowed into the country, because at this point, you can't go to the States.
Yeah, what's it like in Germany where you are? Is everything locked down, or is it kind of so-so?
Well, yeah, it's more like so-so. I mean, like, I have the feeling they just don't have any idea what to do. I mean, the stores are open again, and but, like, we still don't really have
total freedom
concerts or anything like that. So, you know, that's why I said, okay, let's use this time and just record and do this and do that, because, like, even now we're, like, still finishing the Shameless record. In, like, 2 weeks or something, we start also the pre-production for the next Blue Rune record.
Oh, wow.
Because we want to put that out, like, if the girls go on tour in May, we want to have that record out by that point.
Yeah, and you know, I gotta say, I think it's great what you're doing there, because a lot of bands that shut themselves down, you know, not only are we not gonna tour, but we're not gonna release any new music until this is all through. And like you said, who the hell knows when that's gonna be? So I dig the fact that, you know, for your fans, you give them a little something, like, yeah, we're working on new music. Here's a couple new tunes until then. That's totally cool of you, Alex, to do that.
Exactly, because I feel like, you know, well, if you can't go anywhere, at least you can listen to music, you know, like at home or whatever you do. But I think just to leave the people like, oh, no, you don't have anything, you know, we can't go on tour, we can't make money, so let's not do anything. And I just think that's stupid. Yeah,
I agree.
It's like, and also, like, I mean, like, well, I almost had to vomit, you know, when people ask me, like, oh, do you want to help on, like, some, like, COVID, like, themed song or whatever? And I was like, no, that's not, we don't do music like that. We don't do songs about politicians and...
Thank God for that. I mean,
I hate that, and I feel like it has nothing to do with music. I mean, like, sometimes when you see those singers and they're, like, on stage and, like, oh, fuck Trump or, like, fuck whoever, and it's like... It's like, it has nothing to do with your music.
You're so right, and I'll tell you, when I watch stuff like that, you know, I tune it out. It makes me want to shut it off. Perfect example, you know, like the movie awards here in the United States. You know, that's all you get, and the ratings each year go down. They continue to do, and it's like, if I'm gonna, like, even the Grammy Awards, the music awards, if I'm gonna tune into something like that, I want to be entertained. I don't really care about your political view or that you think you're better than me or whatever, you know.
Oh no, it's so stupid, and plus it has nothing to do with the music.
Exactly.
Like, to see, and also in a certain way, I think it's dangerous because, like, you know, like, let's say, like, you have whatever singer that is, like, popular to like 15-year-old kids, you know, like some of those pop artists, and then they make a political statement about, like, you know, like, well, what's her name, the Hannah Montana girl, Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
You know, and like, she has fans that are, like, for, like, still kids.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them.
Yeah.
And then she makes a statement about Trump or whatever, and those kids have no idea about Trump or anything.
Yeah.
But then they say, oh, if she said that, it must be true.
Yeah, and you know, another example comes to my mind is, like, Dee Snider. Back in the day, like, in 1984, you know, Stay Hungry, he was the anti-establishment. You know, I want to rock, we're not going to take it. And now you got him going online and shaming people for not wearing masks. And I got his new CD, and I think it's pretty cool, but it kind of turns me off. Like, I'm like, what happened to Dee Snider? You know, you're now wanting to be one of the elites, the very people that were years ago trying to ban all your records.
No, it's just like, you know, stay out of that. If you want to be a politician, be a politician. You know, like, you have those guys like Blackie Lawless, who was always, you know, he always made a point about his political statement since like Headless Children.
Yeah.
So then I think it's okay because like it's not that all of a sudden he changed into whatever, you know, because that's how he's always been.
Yeah.
But like in general, I think it's a joke, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like some of those people you can tell, you know, like Dee Snider's one of them, you know, like every time he puts out a new record. No, let's put it the other way. Every time you see a post from him,
exactly,
where he bashes Gene or Paul or whoever, then you know, like 2 days later, there will be an announcement of a new record.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, talk about your new record, D. Don't be bashing on these other guys that came before you. Yeah.
Exactly, and the whole bashing thing to me is just stupid because it always puts you like on a lower point. Like, you know, if you're in need to bash somebody to get your name out, it just means you're way below those people, and like I don't think you should do that. You know?
Yeah, I'm with you.
If you have something to say about your music or whatever, that's cool, but like don't use politicians or like bashing other people to get your name out. It's just retarded.
I mean, they're trying to get likes, and I think Alexx Michael, you have a perfect example of it. If you just go online and you put your music out there and you talk to your fans, and you put out great music videos, the fans are going to follow you. The fans are, that's all you need to do. I mean, you don't ever get political, you say, and it seems to be working for you. I think that's a perfect example.
Yeah, because for me, like, that's my main thing. I mean, like, especially with music, like, because, like, there's so many people out that, like, once they turn 30 or whatever, they stop listening to new music. And, like, I discovered so much stuff over the last 20 years. And then just last weekend, I posted a song by My Chemical Romance, who I still say are, in my opinion, like the greatest band that came out in the last 20 years.
Oh, yeah, very, very well. Yeah, very well, one of those bands.
There's nothing out there like them in the last 20 years, because, of course you have your bands like, the newer hard rock bands, but, like, in hard rock and stuff, it's so hard to really come up with something new.
Let me ask you about one band I'm really kind of into over the last couple of years. I think has really made quite the statement. I want to get your opinion on them. The Dead Daisies, especially the new album with Glenn Hughes.
To be honest, I haven't heard that record. I really like the stuff with Karabi because, like, Karabi's just, like, great. I mean, he's such a super talented guy, and he fits in everywhere. I mean, you remember, like, when he was just, like, the rhythm guitar player in Rat.
Yeah, that I thought.
He just nailed it.
What is he doing there, though? I mean, he's a great lead singer, but again, maybe sometimes you need to pay the bill, so you got to understand that. But I've been a fan of everything he's done since Motley Crue.
Exactly, and like John is also one of those people. Like music is going through his veins.
Oh yeah.
It means like for him it was pretty like fuck this. Like I don't have to take care of my voice because I'm just doing backing vocals and I just have fun on stage playing guitar. It's like. Because change is a lot of times, it's a good thing.
Oh, that's a true musician, a guy like that, yeah, that kind of can do anything, Because
it's like, like sometimes when we, like also like the new songs that we did for the record, there's like, this is like the title track of the record, So Good You Should, is actually not one of the heaviest songs. It's actually a slower track, but then I was like, other bands did that too. I mean, obviously one of the best examples is Long Cold Winter by Cinderella, and even Motley Crue. What was that record, the one with Castillo on drums?
Oh, New Tattoo.
And also there, the title track was a slower song, and I was like, who cares about those rules? It's not like, in the end, it's rock and roll, and I always thought like rock and roll is about like making your own rules and not be like, oh, you have to have like the heavy song has to be the title track.
Yeah, it's whatever kind of gets you off, as a guy writing the tunes, that's what it's got to kind of be about. And if you dig it, then your fans will probably dig it. And the other thing is like anybody's ever listened to Shameless, record. I mean, a lot of it sounds like kind of glam rock, glitter rock, great like rock from the 70s and 80s. People would think that maybe Alex, you grew up in England, but you're kind of one of these guys that's influenced by everything, and you can really hear it in the music.
Yeah, because there's just like so much great stuff out there that doesn't have anything to do with like the hard rock stuff. And to be honest, when I was a kid, like Elvis was different because there was a singer, it was not a band. But then like the next thing I discovered was Kiss, and they had 4 singers. Then the next band I discovered was the Beatles, also 4 singers. And then one of my other favorite bands was Girls' School from the UK.
Wow.
And so they also had 4 singers.
And
then when Motley Crue came out, I was like actually disappointed when I saw them, I saw a video of them. It's like, oh, that's terrible. They only have 1 singer and he doesn't even play guitar. At that point, I was like 11 and I didn't know, or like I never paid attention to those other rock bands, because it was just like, when you're like 11 years old, it's not like today where you go on the internet and look for like 1 million bands and find like 5 million results. Okay.
And then when you discover a band like Motley Crue, you kind of realize, well, wait a minute, okay, he's the singer, but the bass player Nicky and the guitar player Mick, they're the ones that write all the tunes. He just kind of sings them, And then even when you go see Motley Crue in concert, Nicky Sixx or Tommy Lee is the 2 members of the band everybody's kind of watching.
Yeah. No, that's also one of those things, like, with like Tommy Lee, when they always bash him, that like his solo stuff doesn't sound at all like Motley. And it's like, I'm not a big fan of some of his stuff, but like that, what was the name of that record? Tommyland. I thought there was such an incredible record, and it didn't sound at all like Motley Crue. But like, that's the point about doing a solo record, or like some of the Kiss fans when they bash Peter Criss's solo record, the first one. I think that's an incredible record, and thank God it doesn't sound like a Kiss record, because otherwise, what's the point of doing a solo record if it sounds exactly like what you normally do? That's like if you work like, bad example, but like if you work at McDonald's and then you have a day off, what should we eat today? Well, let's go to Burger King. Let's have something totally different. It's just like, that doesn't make any sense. So like, I always appreciate that, when somebody does something as a solo record and it doesn't sound like the stuff he normally does.
And I mean, it's kind of like a Shameless record is kind of like a rock and roll salad. You don't really know what you're going to get until you pick it up, but it's going to be good, and it's going to be a little bit. Each song is going to kind of stand out on its own and be really different than the previous one. And it also always depends on like where you are in life. I think because like on the first record, we still had song titles like Backstreet Action and stuff like that, but then like I was just like, you cannot repeat that all the time, because it's just like... Well, that's what I'm saying. Each one of your albums is really different. I mean, they really do kind of stand out, and I think it doesn't even matter how far in between you release them, because they really do stand out.
Yeah, and I always think it's, like when you, about like what you experience, like that one record with that Beautiful Disaster, like I had some really negative people in my life at that point, and then that obviously reflected on what I was writing about, and I just think like that's important, because like you cannot just always like have songs like like Bang Bang You or whatever, because it's just
another
times,
go on, I'm sorry.
Like how many times you want to repeat yourself? Sure, you have bands like AC/DC who can get away with that, like releasing pretty much the same stuff
over and over and over,
50 years or something. Like, it's just like, then what is the point of even getting a new record if you know it will be the exact same thing? Or like when some people say about Kiss, well, how come like Psycho Circus didn't sound like Destroyer or whatever? And I just always think like, why do you want to have an exact copy of what you already bought like 20 years earlier? If you want to listen to Destroyer, but like otherwise, check out what they are doing now. And I think that's the beauty about it. Even with like, you know, like Motley Crue, because like all the records sound different. It's not like
Motley Crue's one band I can really say that's true about. I mean, and I think they made a point because not only did each album sound different, but they had a different look each album, you know.
No, absolutely. Like, and still to this day, I love the Generation Swine record because like they just always like they seem to go with like, oh, let's do something new, let's do something. Well,
like I heard Nicky talking once in an interview where he said, okay, you know, with Too Fast for Love, when we came out with that, people thought, okay, they're a rock band, but there's a punk element to what they did, and then he said, okay, then we got all dark on Shout at the Devil, and you look at the photos, and we made ourselves look all bloody and dark, and then he said, okay, you thought that's what we were, and then we come out with Theater of Pain, totally glammed out. And you think that's what we are? No, we're going to be something different on the next record.
Exactly, and that's like the cool thing about it. I mean, like, one of my all-time favorite artists, like, she never did any record that sounded like the previous one, is Kate Bush.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And, like, I'm not sure how familiar you are.
I've heard of her, but I probably couldn't name I really couldn't name a Kate Bush song, but I've heard the name. I know who she is, yeah.
Well, if you ever get a chance, because like, especially if you're into Alice Cooper,
okay.
You have to get listen to her first record, because that's pretty much, if you're into Welcome to My Nightmare, $1 Billion Babies, like the slower songs.
Okay.
The music sound has a lot of those elements.
I'll have to check that out.
It's like I mean, it has nothing to do with rock or anything.
I hear you, but it's kind of you could tell by listening what you're saying that she was influenced by that.
Yeah, because like also that record was produced by one of the Pink Floyd guys.
Oh wow!
And it's like her stuff and like I still say like to this day, like all the female artists that came afterwards are just like were so influenced by her. Like there wouldn't be any Pink or Madonna or any of those without Kate Bush.
Okay, wow, that's quite a recommendation. I'll definitely check her out. Well, Alex, I want to thank you for speaking with me tonight. I could talk to you all night, as you can hear, but
yeah, it was great.
Let's do it again. Let's keep in touch. The interview will be going up in about 2 weeks. I'll let you know as soon as it does. And
awesome.
Take care, my friend. And we'll definitely continue to support you.
Perfect, then.
Bye-bye.